I became completely enamored with strengths when I saw how much they were showing up in every aspect of my life: health and wellness, work, school, relationships, and belief in self. Of course, the Bader Meinhof phenomenon was, I'm sure, at play as well. Since I was now consciously aware of my strengths, I noticed them more often. But everything was completely authentic to who I really am. Living an authentic life will look different for each person, but it's easy to get caught up in what the media, society, or friends think that should look like for us. Unfortunately, when we follow what is right for someone else, we will be left feeling anything but authentic or free, given that being authentic is actually what sets us free. The most basic definition of authentic is real, not fake. Webster also lists true to one's personality, spirit, or character, sincere with no pretensions. Of course, we all would like to think that is the way we view and present ourselves, but to be truly authentic, we must first be incredibly self-aware, something many people struggle with, especially when it comes to being fully honest about our health and wellness. The honesty I would lead to a responsibility that we are not taught as a society to take. It is much easier and more widely accepted to be victims of what goes on with our bodies. But learning and living in our own personal strengths can help guide us to approach living a more healthy lifestyle without feeling overwhelmed by thinking we have to make a bunch of changes that aren't in line with who we are and how we live in order to achieve what we want. They give us control back over ourselves. For example, knowing my strengths has helped me be able to learn how to set goals and targets my way, concentrate on what motivates me, know which rewards mean the most to me, and be aware of what excuses I might make and why. Does this mean that I'm now a picture perfect of health? Definitely not. But it does mean that I am much more aware of the best way for me to take matters into my own hands, feel empowered enough to know that I'm in control of my wellness, and can acknowledge and admit to when I'm off course and need to get back on track. Speaking of getting on track, I realized even more with the death of my dad this summer that life is short. So I recently made the big decision to let my job at the school go and put all of my energy into moving forward with my mentoring business. As scary as that choice was to make, it already is paying off with several new opportunities coming my way. Change, and especially self-induced change, can be very nerve-wracking, but the best way to go about it is to authentically look at ourselves as a whole person. When it comes to work school life, the pressure we may feel to measure up or meet expectations can make being true to ourselves challenging. As I tell my student clients, you are not your grades, and I tell my adult clients, you are not your job. Now, if you have the achiever strength high, you may be motivated by hitting certain marks, and that's great because it's you being authentic. But we need to remember that this is not the case for everyone, and even those people need to be aware of the differentiation of what you do and who you are. For students who are still trying to find their way, the strengths-based emotional intelligence program I've created gives them a tangible resource to depend on when feeling anxious and overwhelmed. If you would like to learn how to best go about your work school life authentically and keep it in perspective as to who you are by honoring the work-life balance so many are searching for, I would love to connect with you and go through your personal strengths order together and reduce unnecessary stress in your life. As much as I love obtaining all kinds of new information regarding emotional intelligence and strengths, it's the friendships that I'm building, rekindling, and nurturing that feed my soul especially due to these very trying times we are now living in that are testing relationships on all levels. There have always been circumstances in our world that lend to divisiveness, but I don't think there's been anything quite so personal as to what's going on now. Typically, people can pick and choose who to have emotionally charged conversations with and when to avoid certain topics to keep relationships intact. But that's not the case here. Tension is showing up in every aspect of life. My heart has been breaking over the shaming, isolating, criticizing, ostracizing, demonizing, and abandoning that's taken place. Relationships are being tested now more than ever, and if your strengths show that you're a dominant relationship builder like me, you're really struggling. There's a lot to unpack with this topic, but here are a few tips to use when finding yourself getting heated or taking the heat from someone else. Anger is a secondary emotion to fear, and fear is definitely all around us. I teach my clients that we cannot control anyone but ourselves, so when faced with a difficult situation, be mindful of the following. 1. Don't take it personally. Everyone behaves within the capabilities they possess and nothing more. 2. Don't set expectations. When we expect people to view life as we do, we will always be disappointed. 3. Don't react. Take a breath. Formulate a response that is authentic to who you are. Knowing and understanding your own strengths helps not only with how to conduct yourself, but also helps put in perspective that we all are designed to be unique and therefore will have unique viewpoints and always display them differently. I hope this helps in maintaining relationships, especially while facing these challenging times. But if you find yourself struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out. When not really sure of who we are, it is natural to reach out to others for support. In doing so, however, consider these questions. Do you find it easier to believe in yourself or believe in someone else? Which do you value more, your own belief in yourself or someone else believing in you? Emotional intelligence focuses on the self, yet many of us are so focused on others and what others think that we lose sight of ourselves, resulting in a lowered EQ. So the opposite of what we're intending is actually occurring. The process of EQ that I use is based on the following when discovering your belief in yourself. Self-awareness. Are you easily able to recognize patterns, preferences, nuances, characteristics, motives, and desires within yourself? Or do you take what other people see in you and say about you in regards to these traits? Self-understanding. Do you then take that information and peel back the layers to figure out why you are the way you are? What may have contributed to these traits? Or do you rely on other people's interpretation of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors? Self-acceptance. Do you welcome these characteristics about yourself without the desire to change them? Or do you follow what other people tell you that you should do instead? Self-embracement. Are you able to love the full scope of who you are? Or do you wait and receive love from someone else first or instead? Self-management. Do your behaviors and treatments of others line up with your authentic self? Or do you act in ways that you think others want you to? And self-empowerment. Do you feel strong enough about who you are that you do not need to exert power over others? Or do you find yourself in power struggles with others to try to feel validated? Or succumbing to trying to be someone else instead of owning who you are? Having a grasp of your personal strengths order can help guide you through this process by giving you a tangible resource to rely on, leading you to have an unstoppable belief in yourself that will contribute to living your most authentic life. I would love to connect with you to discuss further. Feel free to reach out, join my email list, and set up a free consultation so that you can feel empowered every day by strengthening who you are to live your authentic life.